In the focus groups, apparently he was being referred to as the 50-cent guy.
Oh my goodness.
From the younger voters. So it was cutting through. Maybe, again, as we were chatting before, the federal campaign just around the corner with a couple of, I'm not saying Albo's going to get on TikTok and start dancing.
Well,
Yeah.
I think
Peter Dutton's
on TikTok. I don't think we need him dancing either. If we're just going to rule out things that are not helpful for anyone's election chances, that's some free advice I'll give to Peter Dutton right here now. You've got to talk to people where they are. We know that young people get their information from a lot of different sources now, including online. You've got to be there. You've got to explain things in really simple terms. One of the things I think is genius about the 50-cent fares is that people heard about it, it was promised, it was delivered, people experienced it, they liked it. And, I mean, I think if you think about what happened during the campaign, you saw the Liberal National Party, who first came out and said, this is a terrible idea, we hate it, it's going to ruin everything. They adopted it as their own policy.
It's a great political strategy, tactic, but it's a terrible policy. I mean,
so why is the LNP doing it?
Unsustainable, sure.
It's unsustainable. I mean, the subsidy, every trip on public transport, the average in South East Queensland, the average subsidy is $19 for a trip, and previously the average cash box was about $6, so it's effectively free. And yes, there's the politics, and we have to acknowledge that I think it's working well. But is this where Australia's going? Is this where Queensland's going? We just can't keep.
What about the Stephen Miles in the tight t-shirts? And,
I think
you've got it flaunted.
Well, if you've got it flaunted, I mean. Chris Foley, I think, has been doing the same thing.
Malinowskis took his shirt off.
He's a fitness sort of guy. I mean, I don't know. I think Lisa would have cringed if I'd ever tried it these days. Yeah. She wouldn't have permitted it.
Yeah, well,
can I just add to that 50-cent fares too? It's not just the inner city either. Like, if you think about it, it's those outer ring suburban seats as well, where a lot of working people need to commute daily and weekly, and that cost is huge. So, I've had people saying to me, that's saving me $80 to $150 a week. Now, that's a lot of income to a family. And if you're struggling with the cost of living and you're getting your electricity rebate, you're now getting these 50-cent fares. And after COVID, we also had trouble getting people back on public transport. Yeah. So I think,
Anastasia, I agree that public transport fares in South East Queensland prior to this initiative were actually too high. And I once upon a time sat down and compared it with, say, New South Wales. And it was a much better deal down here in the Greater Sydney metropolitan area. But again, when you make it free, effectively, it sends some really bad messages to people, and it isn't financially sustainable. But should they have reduced public transport fares? Absolutely. And to your point, people in the outer suburbs needed that relief.